Hello and welcome to this quick video. This is kind of an overview and review of a little 3D printer, specifically the one that's there behind me. That's the Malyan M200. I ordered this one from Amazon. Now, historically, back in that little corner has been a little printer, little silver box that was called the Turnkey Fabricator 2. An amazing little printer. Wasn't hard to set up, didn't have any advanced sophisticated controls on it, but it had a heated bed and it actually worked really nicely, and I've used it to the point where I've pretty much wore it out. And when it died, I was very sad. Managed to track down some replacement stepper motors, but it was actually the integrated drivers that had kind of bit the dust. So sadly it came to the end of its life and it had to be kind of go into the recycling pile. But to try and find a printer that went into that space has been incredibly tricky. Now, I did ask for help with this, so thank you to every single one of you that replied with suggestions of a little tabletop printer like this thing behind me. I've gone through every single one of those suggestions and eventually come up on this. One of my flying buddies has something called King Rune, I think it is, that he really loves, but again it was still slightly too big. And this is my issue with some of the printers that I'm being offered for review at the moment. They are really big units. They are not designed to be set up unless you have a ton of space and just left set up, and then they are ready to run all the time. And that would be my recommendation when you have a 3D printer. Once you've got it set up and calibrated and all dialed in, is just leave it alone and just use it to print. If you keep moving it around, there's a chance that you could knock the bed and you have to go through the calibration routines and other things too. And that's why the big printers that I have here, things like the Ender 3 V2 Pro, things like the Mizar S, those kind of things just don't get used because they're always packed away because I haven't got the space to have them out all the time. And this is really for those of you who are interested in 3D printing but don't want to spend £300–400 on a 3D printer and then find that you can struggle with it. And I've had quite a few questions from my Patreons in particular asking about what I think of this printer. And I've now had it long enough. The very short answer, if you don't want to watch the whole video, is, you know what, it gets 2 thumbs up from me. This is actually a cracking little unit. It's only £130, and with some half decent filament, I would recommend getting some decent filament. I'm running the Filamentive PETG in black on that, which is what I ran on my Fabricator 2 before it died. But I've also been printing PLA Tough on there, which is a toughened version of PLA, which is also very good for radio control, absorbs crash and damages a lot better than standard PLA, which can be a bit brittle. So let me go through some of the specs on this and go into a little bit more detail. But if you are looking for a cheap and cheerful printer that you can set up that will be able to sit on a tabletop or even on a shelf and you can just print from it whenever your little heart desires, I'm quite impressed with this one. So again, this is the Malyan M200. It is available in lots of different versions. There are different names for it, but essentially it's the same printer. It's 120mm squared print area, which is easily enough for 99% of all the stuff that I ever want to print. Single nozzle at 0.4mm, which is pretty standard. Filament diameter, it needs the 1.75, the thinner filament, which is what I tend to use here. It'll support PLA and PETG, which is exactly what I want. Maximum extruder temperature on this is 250 degrees, which will definitely allow you to print both of those. Probably a little cool for something like ABS or some of the flexible filaments, but you might get away with it. Maximum heated bed temperature is 60 degrees C, which you need for the PETG, and that works nicely. Print speed 55mm a second, and the connectivity is via micro SD card or micro USB as well. The power input is using a standard power cable with a separate power brick, and it does have profiles in things like Cura. So doing the slicing is a piece of cake. You can just go in and add the printer. All the settings have kind of been optimized by somebody else, and it means that it works straight out the box. Now, I've had a really good time with this, and now I've had it long enough, I'm happy to make a video, say that it isn't going to last more than 5 minutes. It absolutely is still trucking, and it now is one of those printers that when I start printing on it, I can kind of just relax and let it get on printing away behind me while I'm doing something else at my desk. A couple of really good points about this. First and foremost is, alright, this might not be the newest and sexiest printer, but the fact it's been around for a long time means that spares are available, and also there's an awful lot of experience in the community, as well as the profiles in Cura being there. One of the big issues that I have when I have new 3D printers in here to test and try, manufacturers tend to be really bad at giving you a really great Cura configuration to create a beautiful file that's going to print fantastically well. That's found eventually by iteration. With this, you can just select the Malyan M200 in Cura and you are set. Second thing with this is it is manual bed leveling. There's no automated bed leveling. If you are new to this, do not panic. It is really, really easy to do. You do it once, and then once you've got it set up, you probably will never ever touch it again. There are little screws in the corner of the bed that just need to be wound either clockwise to lower the bed or anti-clockwise to raise the bed. You've got to test that in each corner and make sure that you can just get a single piece of A4 paper through. I tend to use a single sheet from something like a post-it note, and that will get you pretty much dialed in. Sounds complicated, it really isn't. I've actually made 2 additional videos that I'll link it down to below in a little mini series that shows every single step I went through to get this thing out the box and printing beautifully. But the big thing for me is that it does just sit there on top of that little unit that's behind me. I do not have to dismantle it, I don't have to move it. It just sits there, and whenever I'm ready to print, I can just slice and design the piece that I need, stick it on an SD card, pop it in the side, hit go, and it'll just print it, and it'll work every single time. Are there any downsides to it? Well, yeah, the menu on it is super basic. It isn't a touchscreen. There's no real clever controls in there, but again, if you're new to 3D printing, that's not an issue at all. It doesn't overface you. There is no print aerial work light, so I intend to have a little torch by the side that I can use just to kind of illuminate it, just to make sure that first layer is going down beautifully. But to be honest, it kind of works every time. So once that first layer is working, you know what, I'm kind of relaxed. The other tip I'll give you is that it is a fixed bed on this. It does have a textured surface. If you're going to be using something like the PET or PLA, I would lightly spray it with hairspray. It'll mean that the adhesion isn't as crazy as it normally is, and you'll be able to get that piece off the bed a little bit easier. Last thing to comment on is it's not very loud, but it isn't super quiet either. This is something that, you know, you can hear it working and then you hear when it stops because everything goes quiet. It's one of those things that you probably wouldn't want to have working away in the background when you're having a Zoom call or a Skype call with somebody else on the computer, but for general just working away in the corner of your office or your room or whatever, it's absolutely fine. So in summary, I really like this. This for £130 is fantastic. This costs less than a DJI Air unit. And for that, I've got something that will print really nicely first time, every time, and it is zero fuss, and it was super easy to set up. So if you are thinking about getting a 3D printer or getting a second one for rapid prototyping and you want it to fit in a small space and you don't need a huge print area, this is definitely one to include in the list that you're looking at. There are lots of printers available in this kind of form factor now where it's a little bit more compact. Some of them have been around for a long time, some of them haven't, some of them are 2 or 3 times the cost of this, and those are one of the ones that I'm looking at. But personally, I'm glad I've got this in. So for £130, I've kind of fixed my problem and I have that little rapid prototype 3D printer that I can use whenever I need to. Again, if you're new to this and you're interested in 3D printer, but you don't know of all the things you need to do to get your 3D printer, have it set up, do slicing and put things on SD cards and how all that works, I'll put links down below to the 2 videos that take you through every single step and also tell you everything you need to know to get printing. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.